5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, a Sumerian brewer plunges unhusked barley into cool water. This was the opening move in a process that provided the calories and hydration essential to ancient life. The earliest technical instructions are recorded in the hymn to Ninkasi, carved into clay tablets 4,000 years ago. When modern brewers follow these verses, the chemistry fails. The text omits a step considered mandatory today. It never mentions boiling the mash. To create a working recipe, archaeologists have to look past the poetry and find the physical tools used in the brewing room. The first stage is malting, a biological transformation the Sumerians called munu. Raw barley was soaked in clay jars like this one. Its most important design feature is a small drainage hole at the base, which allows the brewer to regulate moisture so the grain sprouts without drowning. By testing these excavated jars, we can see exactly how the Sumerians controlled the germination process, providing the physical context that the poem assumes the reader already knows. Once sprouted, the damp barley was carried up the stairs of these mud brick cities to the flat roofs. The brewers spread the grain across woven reed mats, allowing the intense Mesopotamian sun to dry the malt naturally. This kilning process relied on the environment rather than wood fires. Because this work took place in the home, brewing was a sacred cottage industry managed by women. As daughters and priestesses oversaw the household vats, they held total responsibility for the city's most critical supply. Since timber was scarce in the alluvial plains, these women turned the arid climate into a tool. They replaced expensive fuel with the free, relentless heat of the sun. Inside the cool, dark brewing rooms, the sun-dried malt was crushed by hand on a stone quern, turning the sprouted grain into a coarse powder. This stage of the process introduces a major academic disagreement over a single word in the hymn, bappir. Many translators believed bappir referred to hard, twice-baked loaves of bread that brewers would crumble into their vats to provide the base of the beer. However, the physical records found in the foundations of sites like Talbazi suggest otherwise. Accounting tablets track bappir by volume, measured out like grain rather than counted as individual loaves, indicating it was actually a form of crushed barley groats. While the poem uses the language of the bakery, the archaeological evidence suggests the brewer's reality was far more efficient, utilizing raw crushed grain rather than processed bread. The ground malt was poured into the central technology of the ancient kitchen, a clay vat that could hold 200 liters, half buried directly into the earth floor. Here, the brewers performed a cold mash, mixing the malt and groats with water at a ratio of 1:8 without ever lighting a fire. This diagram shows the thermal engineering at work. The surrounding earth insulates the vat, maintaining the liquid at 34 degrees Celsius. This specific temperature is just warm enough for enzymes to convert the grain's starch into fermentable sugar. To begin fermentation, the brewer added a scoop of foam from a previous batch, introducing wild yeast to the mixture. The vat sat for 36 hours, producing the hissing and bubbling described in the hymn as a pleasant sound. This cold mash system allowed the Sumerians to produce a dietary staple for thousands of people without needing a single piece of firewood. When the bubbling stopped, the liquid was moved to a collector vat called a laton. The resulting drink was thick, cloudy, and filled with floating husks of grain. Despite its appearance, this liquid was safer to drink than local canal water. The fermentation process killed waterborne diseases while providing essential carbohydrates and proteins. In the evenings, groups of laborers or elites would sit together around a pointed-bottom clay jar to share the day's brew. To avoid the bitter dregs and floating husks, they used long reed straws to draw clear liquid from the center of the jar. This cross-section shows the engineering hidden inside the clay. The internal grooves and the pointed base were designed to trap sediment at the bottom, ensuring only the filtered beer reached the straw. Because everyone shared a single vessel, drinking became an act of diplomacy. It was a visible sign of trust and communal peace among the people of the city. Integrating the poetry of the hymn with archaeological science reveals the true function of Sumerian brewing. This drink provided the essential calories and safe hydration that allowed the first cities to grow and endure. 5